Damn it, I forgot my coffee. Got my coffee. Ready to go. We're gonna talk Goldilocks, the climate, being like a base camp, all in today's video, so come along. Today is gonna test me. It really is. Had to come all the way back home just because I forgot something, and since I'm gonna be away from the house for a few hours, because I usually don't record videos on Thursday, and today is Thursday. I usually do everything on a Friday or Saturday morning. I'm kind of thrown off on my week. I'm sure you can relate to that, but today, I'm not gonna be talking about green chili, the balloon fiesta, or anything like that. I'm gonna give you some realness when it comes down to why Albuquerque is slowly becoming one of the top cities in the Southwest. Because if you're choosing between Southwest cities, Tucson, Phoenix, Denver, El Paso, there's stuff that people aren't talking about that should help you with deciding where you should land. And these are things that people aren't putting in brochures. It's 5 reasons. Number 1 is gonna hit you like a ton of bricks the second you start shopping. And of course, the second one is usually the thing that makes or breaks a lot of people's decisions, and you'll see why. And full disclosure, I've lived in Albuquerque for the past 30 plus years. I love it here, so it may seem a little biased, but you can go and check all one of these reasons for yourself. So let's get into the real reasons and make a good case on why Albuquerque is becoming one of the top cities in the Southwest. Home inspection's all done. Michael and Naomi are thrilled with that house, and as you can see from all the B-roll that we shot there, it's a great home. It's wonderful. It's out in Rio Rancho, sits at the top of the hill, and their views are just impeccable. It's crazy. Let's talk about the same things that they went through when they started looking into moving down to the Southwest, and they were comparing all the different cities, because this one is the one that they felt first, especially after they pulled up Zillow, Trulia, and Realtor.com, and they started looking at all the numbers. And I like to think that I'm joking or blowing smoke in this whole conversation, but the truth is that you can do the homework yourself. When you're looking at other major cities here in the Southwest, Denver, for instance, they're well over $500,000 on their average price point. Tucson and Phoenix, the same thing. And even an hour away from us in Santa Fe, they're well over $500,000 already. And it's crazy because it's only an hour away. And things are starting to tilt in your favor. Right now, there's more homes on the market, things are sitting longer, and we're not having these crazy bidding wars going on right now. And all the housing analysts are saying it. There's a lot of locals that live in Denver and Phoenix, shoot, even places like Dallas that are getting priced out. So they're landing here. And if you believe money's important, who doesn't? You're gonna see that Albuquerque is that value play that the rest of the region here in the Southwest used to be. But a cheap house isn't the end all be all. And you're gonna see that this second reason is the reason why Albuquerque outmuscles a lot of the other cities here in the region. And that's gonna be the economy. We don't just have one leg to stand on. We're not just focusing on tourism like a lot of these other major cities. We have a bunch of different legs to stand on when it comes to this conversation. And I'm not gonna lie, we do benefit from the tourism thing a whole ton, because during Balloon Fiesta, there's hundreds of thousands of people that come to New Mexico just to experience this once-in-a-lifetime event. When you are talking about the staples, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the Sandia Labs, Los Alamos Labs, Kirkland Air Force Base, talking about being the biggest quantum tech hub here, healthcare, the film industry with Netflix, and you're also talking about Intel, which is pouring billions of dollars of an expansion to their chip facility, and that's just right up the street in Rio Rancho. And here's where I can get honest with you, because when we're talking about diversifying the economy, this is what I'm talking about. We're not focused on just one particular area to be able to carry us through. You got the film industry, which I'll be honest with you, right now is a little slower. There's not too many productions happening in 2026. The labs, the quantum thing, the healthcare, and then the chip facility out there at Intel just growing and expanding. You're finding that when people move here to actually build a career and build a life, or just have the stability to be able to sleep at night, there alone is far underrated, and not too many people are having conversations on that. Okay, really quick before we go to our next location, if you really want to know more about Albuquerque and living here in New Mexico, don't forget to hit that subscribe and notification bell down at the bottom. And if you just want to ask me a question direct, that number popping up on the screen is my direct line. I'm a licensed broker here in the city of New Mexico, and I'd love to help you with finding the next place to call home. So call or text me at any time. But I think number 3 is really my favorite reason in this whole video. So let's go to the next location and talk about it. All right, and reason number 3 is an interesting one because not a lot of people think about this, but I do, so you don't have to. And you're not just buying Albuquerque for the city, you're actually buying it because it's a base camp for the whole Southwest. And the whole base camp thing irks a lot of people, especially the ones that are coming from Colorado. You Denver folk have to travel hours in traffic just to get to like Estes Park or stuff to do out in the mountains. But here in Albuquerque, yes, it takes us a few hours to get to Taos, down to Ruidoso and stuff like that, but it's because it's a little farther, right? Mexico's large, it's a big state, and we're not gonna be dealing with the headache of traffic. It's just a constant, nice long drive chasing white lines, but that's the whole base camp thing. We're super close to a lot of these great things that getting away for the weekend is not gonna be this chore. It's not gonna feel like you're having to go out of your way to just go and do these things. You can just wake up one morning and say, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go enjoy Hemet Springs, I'm gonna go to Santa Fe, have lunch, and come back by dinner time. These are real things that we're doing here, and just getting around here on the Southwest side, especially if you wanted to travel outside of the state, it's not gonna be detrimental. It's actually gonna be a lot easier than you think. And just compare it all, right? Compare it to living out in some of these major metro areas where leaving town is just gonna be this chore. It's gonna be 2 hours in traffic, bumper to bumper, just to go and have some fun. And that's where Albuquerque is just like beating a lot of people because you're not gonna pay a whole lot more just to get that. That's gonna be included in this whole lifestyle that we live here. And evidently you're gonna live more of the Southwest lifestyle than most people do in these flashier, bigger cities. And a couple of those weekend trips are gonna be the reason why this next thing exists. And it's really something that only this part of the United States can actually give you. This is an interesting one because not a lot of people are thinking about this, but since we aren't big, like in this terms of city living, there's not gonna be a whole ton of light pollution during the nighttime. And there's even parts of Albuquerque and some of these neighborhoods like the foothills that don't allow you to have bright lights coming from the house because it obstructs from the night view. And that's what we have is big, clear skies because we don't have to deal with the smog as much and we don't have to deal with all these lights polluting the sky. I mean, as simple and as dumb as it sounds, you'd find it crazy how much people actually miss the sky when they come down here to Albuquerque and they tell us that they can actually see the stars and they can actually clearly see the mountains. That's a huge one not a lot of people are actually thinking about. And it's not just part of our lifestyle. That's why Spaceport America is here in New Mexico. You have more aerospace companies moving into New Mexico, calling this place home. And the large radio telescopes that you see in the movies and stuff, those are here in New Mexico. So they're all a short drive away from Albuquerque. New Mexico is really leaning hard into that industry. So you can just make the assumption that taking care of our skies with light pollution and air pollution is gonna be a top priority. So you get the lifestyle. Stargazing, astrotourism, big sky wanderers. Like you're not gonna really get that anywhere else. And with us leaning heavier into that forward-moving industry, there's a lot that we can benefit from just that aspect as well. And I mean, if it means anything to you, check out these skies. I know you can barely see it, but that's the Sandia Mountains poking through a little part of the trees there. Like, just look at it. It's crazy. And before I got too woo-woo on you, really romanticizing the clear blue skies and the mountains, it really brings me into the next topic where it's totally boring on paper, life-changing once you actually start to experience it. And this next reason is the climate. Yeah, sure, we get a ton of sun here. Everybody knows that. But since we are higher in elevation, we're not gonna get those brutal temperatures like Phoenix does. We actually dodge all of that stuff. And since we are a desert climate, during the day it is gonna be warm. It's not gonna be super hot, especially now in the monsoon seasons, because anytime that you get under shade, it's gonna be awesome. And then at nighttime, you can really feel those temperatures start to decline. So it gives you a whole break from the thing. And we do get all 4 seasons. That's an honest thing. They're very mild. They're not gonna be brutal summers or brutal winters, and you aren't gonna get a whole ton of snow or a ton of rain. You're gonna be able to manage your lifestyle here. So it's gonna be pretty easy, right? The one topic that comes up every time we talk about this climate thing is the natural disasters, and do we deal with any? And I'll be honest with you, most of the state does, but here in Albuquerque, it's uncommon for us to have to deal with a crazy natural disaster. Yes, tornadoes will happen all around us, and earthquakes will happen all around us, but very rarely do we ever have to deal with anything crazy unless somebody happens to accidentally light the bus on fire, that's gonna be about the least of your worries. Look, I know you see it, grass all green, trees all lush. Surely living in the desert, none of this should exist because number one, it's super dry and we don't have enough water. Here's the caveat to all that, because we do have enough water and not a lot of people know that. Unlike our counterparts in Arizona and Nevada, where they're struggling for water, back in the 90s, the state of New Mexico realized that we were using a lot more water than we had anticipated. So they poured a lot of money into conservation, the aquifers, and really tried to get ahead of the ball when it came down to the water usage. And believe it or not, as we grew, water usage actually came down. So that's an interesting fact for you. So there you have it. 5 real reasons why Albuquerque is becoming one of the top cities across the whole Southwest area. Now, is Albuquerque perfect? No. I've given you plenty of reasons and plenty of videos giving you the contrast on why Albuquerque probably wouldn't work for you. But if any of this makes sense and you're looking here in the Southwest area and you're comparing Arizona to New Mexico, Colorado to New Mexico, or even Texas, like just fully understand that we are gonna have a lot more things that some of these major cities can't give you. And when it comes down to it, the affordability aspect, because right now the average home price here in Albuquerque is around $350,000, you are gonna save a ton of money in the long run when it comes to living here. And plus, life is a little slower here, a lot more realistic. Not everybody's driving around trying to impress everybody. It really is just a life that you can live at your own pace, which I try to explain all the time, but it's not really something you can understand until you actually live here. So just to sum everything up for you, when you are looking to live here in Albuquerque, 5 reasons that we brought up today, you're looking at one of the more affordable cities in the Southwest region. You are looking also at an economy that has 5 legs to stand on or more. You're also looking at the dark, big, clear skies and the economy behind that as well. And you are also talking about the Goldilocks climate here that won't run dry. And told you I was gonna bring up Goldilocks in this whole video, and that's what it is, right? It's one of those climates that you really can't get anywhere else. And we've had conversations with people all over the country, so we know that one is true. All right, now in all fairness, because I don't wanna seem too biased, right? Because if you are looking for a flashier city, flashier lifestyle, you want nightlife, and you want big league sports teams, like all of that, Albuquerque's not gonna be able to provide that for you. It can satisfy the itch, but I get it. Now, if none of that is important to you, then I put Albuquerque against those cities all day, and I know that we're gonna win because it's just different here. But if you are planning on moving down here in the next 6 to 12 months, that number popping up on the screen here, my direct line, call or text me at any time. I'd love to help you with finding that next place to call home here in Albuquerque or anywhere here in the metro area. If you do want to learn a little bit more about Albuquerque and the different neighborhoods here, down in the description below is a free relocation guide. Make sure you get that just so you can have some more information and more tools to be able to help you with that move. Now, I gotta go and show this house here in the foothills. We got buyers that are relocating from San Diego, and we're super excited to show them some pretty incredible houses. Like, they are totally psyched that they're gonna be able to buy double of the living space that they have right now for almost the same price that they were paying for in a condo with like an $800 HOA. It's crazy, but I'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a good weekend. Peace.